Good evening, and thank you for joining us. My name is Chrissy, and I would like to welcome you to the Doylestown Bookshop's virtual event series. I am so excited to introduce Animal Planet Puppyball trainer and acclaimed author Victoria Schade as she discusses her newest novel, Lost, Found, and Forever, with award-winning author Patience Griffin. The authors will be in conversation for about a half hour and will be participating in a Q&A with you, the viewers. If you would like to submit a question, please click on Ask a Question at the bottom of your screen and enter your question there. If you're watching from a phone or tablet, click the icon with a question mark to submit your questions. If you would like to purchase their books from the Doylestown Bookshop, click the button on your screen that says Buy the Books. We have curbside pickup available at both of our locations, or we can ship the books to you. Victoria will be stopping by tomorrow to sign any books sold this evening and all of her pre-orders, so please note who you would like the book inscribed to in the order comment section at checkout. I've had a few questions during past events from viewers who are accustomed to Zoom events, so to avoid any confusion there, only our guests and I will be able to participate through video and audio. You may, however, interact with us through the chat box on your screen and through the Q&A. Now, a little bit about our guests. Victoria Schade is a dog trainer and speaker who serves as a dog resource for the media and has worked both in front of and behind the camera on Animal Planet as a co-host of the program Faithful Friends and a trainer and wrangler on the channel's popular Puppy Ball specials. Patience Griffin is the award-winning author of the Kilts and Quilts series of contemporary romances. She grew up in a small town along the Mississippi River, enjoying life in a close-knit community. She loves to quilt and has gained national recognition with her September 11 story quilt, which has toured the country as the property of the Pentagon, and her extensive collection of commercially available quilting fabrics. Hello and happy Pub Day. I'm so excited. Welcome.
Thank you so much. What a great introduction.
Oh
Yes,
my goodness.
lovely.
I cannot wait to watch your conversation. And remember, everybody, please enter your questions in. We'll do a Q&A after they're done speaking, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yay.
So can I say first, congratulations on release day. Yay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We were talking earlier and I was telling her I just finished the book this morning and it's so good. Everybody needs to go and get, let me say it, it's Lost, Love, and Forever. Got to make sure I said it right, didn't I? I didn't
Lost,
get the
Found, and Forever?
Forever. Oh my gosh. So I was sending her emails. Oh, so I thought it was putting LLF, but it's LFF. Okay, all right. So my brain.
It's fine. No, my gosh. Totally fine.
I have to tell you my story about Victoria Schade. So the event was set up and I was like, oh, I need to go out and get her books. Now I couldn't get the new books. So I went to go get the Who Rescued Who. Mm-hmm. And it was on my list. I keep a list that I write down of books that I want because I have a huge, and it was like, it was already there. But the publisher sent it to me and I started reading it. And by page 2, actually probably the first paragraph, I was like, I have found a new author. I was so excited. So first I need to know, Victoria, how do I get on your list to know when you have new books coming out? What do I need to do?
Oh gosh, that's such a good question. So I will admit, number one, I am not great at newslettering, and I saw my editor in the guests here. Don't get mad at me. I do my best. So just on my website, I have a form, and just fill out the form. It's super simple, and just say, add me to your news list, your newsletter list, and I will do that.
Okay, I have to write myself a note. Anyway, we'll talk about that later because I've got to do that because I have found a new author that I love. So everybody just know that. I'm super picky. Super picky. So I didn't get Who Rescued Who finished yet because I had to start on the Lost, Found, Forever and Forever book. And I was really depressed because I wanted to keep reading that. But then I started the new book and I was like, oh, this is super good too. So you all are going to love it. So anyway, but congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. This is going to be a Mutual Admiration Society event, I have a feeling. I have questions for you too. So we're not ending without me getting a few in, okay?
Okay.
Good.
So one of the questions I have in my brain is, I want to know, have you been writing forever? I mean, is this, um, I just wanted to know a little bit about your past. I mean, we know that, I know I want you to talk about the Puppy Bowl, which we're all super excited about. But first, can you tell me a little bit about how you got started writing?
Yeah, sure. So I've written my whole life. I've always been a journaler. I have them, don't tell, they're on the shelves behind me. Um, yeah, and I've always loved writing. Did a lot in college, but never studied writing specifically. And then as I grew into my dog training career, I realized that writing was very necessary in order to convey the information, because it's not only what happens in person, it's what you leave with them, and also branching out, working with various pet websites to write content for them. So that was kind of my progression. First I was just writing homework sheets for people, and realized that I know a thing or two about this dog training stuff. And I've always been very proactive. So I approached a few websites that did, and this is olden times. This is way long time ago. But just approached them and said, I write stuff. Would you be interested? And that kind of started it. And from there, I realized that a lot of my puppy training clients were having the same types of questions, and some of them were having similar types of problems that went beyond just obedience, which I'm not a fan of that word, but this isn't a dog training talk. And I realized that I could write a book that would kind of sum up all of these issues that they're facing and give them some solutions. So my first like super professional, outside of just writing articles, thing was my first book, which is Bonding with Your Dog, and that's a dog training book. And as I worked on that, I realized the how-to stuff is really hard because it's super exacting. Like, you either do it right or not. So that was like doing homework. I did not enjoy that part of the book. But the vignettes that accompanied it, all the fun little stories, the little like, this happened with my client, I loved that. And I said, this fiction thing, that's where it's at.
And so then that sort of begs the question, because you have had a pet store, and so Justine in the new book, she has a pet store. So is the book autobiographical? By
Autobiographical. People,
Thank
you
you.
know what? People think that because my first book was about a dog trainer, and I'm a dog trainer. So I always pull pieces of my life and insert it into the book, but my main characters are never me. My first book, she was much nicer than I am. She was a much better dog trainer than I am. And then in this book too, she has a store. I don't want to do any spoilers, but her store was in a little bit of a crisis, whereas mine was never at that point. I feel like I need to trumpet that. Like, she's having some financial challenges. I'm like, mine wasn't that bad for me. So, but the feelings of love and community, and feeling like you're just really a part of something. Definitely, I felt those same feelings, and definitely put them into Justine in her store.
And your store was just around the corner from Doylestown Bookshop,
It
correct?
was. Yes, it was. I had a few employee shoppers that will remain nameless, but yeah, definitely would visit them as well. It's a great small town. I love Doylestown.
Ah, that's wonderful. I think small towns are where it's at. Can you tell us a little bit about the Puppy Bowl? I mean, oh my goodness, we all love the Puppy Bowl.
The Puppy Bowl is the highlight of my year. So, spoiler alert, which I can throw it right out there, it's not live. A lot of people think, and just in case you don't know, I make the assumption that at this point everyone knows what Puppy Bowl is. Puppy Bowl is Animal Planet's counter programming for Super Bowl Sunday, and it's basically 3 hours of puppies playing on this scaled down football field. It's not really a game, although the way it's edited, it looks like an actual game with teams and, I don't penalties and all that stuff. I don't watch football. I don't watch real football. So yeah, it's not filmed live. We film in October. I told you these things don't like to stay in my ear. We film in October, and it takes about a week of long days, but it's so much fun. It's such a great team. We've been working together for years. We are all so dedicated to the cause, not just promoting a great or creating a great program, but promoting the idea of foster, rescue, adoption. All these wonderful dogs that are playing on the field are all available for adoption. And it's just a great show with a great message.
It just makes me happy when I watch it. It just because you just laugh, and there's a lot of joy in it.
And a lot of personality too. Like you get to learn the puppy's personalities as you watch the show.
Exactly. Okay, so I had a note here. It's like, what's the secret that people don't know about the Puppy Bowl? Oh, is the secret is that it's filmed?
Well, that's one of them. I have so many. We could talk all night about my gossip. And actually, some of the gossip from Puppy Bowl made it into Lost, Found, and Forever, which we might touch on. That's another parallel. Not only did I have a store, I've worked on TV shows. A secret is that there is so much more poop and pee than you could ever imagine. So you see it like occasionally, like Dan the ref will throw a flag and one cute little pile. Oh no, it is not cute by the end of the day. And Dan has to kneel and I have to kneel on that field, which is just covered. So there's your gross fun fact about Puppy Bowl.
So it's just not all fun and games. It's poop too.
And there's a lot of poop. Yeah. And I won't get clinical, but it's not pretty.
Not pretty. Oh, that's hilarious.
But it's still so fun. I mean, that's like the one silly little thing that goes on. The rest of it is just pure joy.
So about the training. So reading the book, there's like two different fields that you can fall into, like a pet owner. And I had written Victoria yesterday, and I said, "Oh, I am afraid that I'm Griffin," because I don't know. My husband, I have PhD. That's what I call him. PhD. He's the dog wrangler. He gets the dogs to do things and to behave. And me, I'm just all about love, and and they're with me all the time, right? And and I take them out, and they just sort of take me for granted, a little bit. And I'm not sure I can change at this stage because, it is what it is. And one of my dogs is deaf now. And so it's just hilarious, to try to get his attention. Can't yell to him, can't whistle, can't anything. I have to like sort of sneak up on him and tap him on the shoulder, and he jumps, I'm trying to do it gentle to him, but it's hard to get them to do something when they're deaf too. I mean, that's a thing, but this is old age. I mean, this is what you do with your animals. We had so ours are rescues, and so we have two now. We did have three, and so three geriatric dogs. Tell you
that's
something.
A lot.
Yeah, lots of old dogs and lots of old things that happen with old dogs, and you just have to. They're family, and you just deal with it. So.
And it's funny you mentioned getting the attention of your deaf dog. A lot of times at Puppy Bowl we have special needs dogs, and deaf dogs come all the time as well. And one of my tricks of the trade is I will stomp on the ground to let them know. So I have to get them to cross the field, and I can't like call. So I'll either hold a treat bag, or sometimes it's blind and deaf. So I'll hit the ground in front of the puppy, and it feels the vibrations and follows me across the field. So
good.
As you're walking over, maybe if you just stomp on the ground a few times, rather than that touch startle, that might help. Sorry, guys. Always dog training. Always dog training.
Perfect. Well, the Bichon Poo, how he does it, he goes over and gets in his face. I mean, because I'll tell the Bichon Poo, I'll tell Scout, I'll be like, go get Scrappy. And so he'll go over and bark in his face, and it's probably the bad breath because he has a lot of teeth issues. He always has he has birth defects, and he's had horrible teeth issues. And anyway, he gets his teeth brushed every day, but we won't talk about dog hair. But
oh God, you're so much better than me.
Well, it's a necessity because of his health. So
yeah.
But anyway, I appreciate the fact he goes over and he'll go get Scrappy to do things for me, and that's lovely. That's lovely.
That's a great helper. You mentioned too about the different camps of pet parents, and I don't think that there's a strict delineation between the softie and the disciplinarian. I think you can be both. And I think that I'm both. I'm not a disciplinarian. I'm a gentle leader, I guess. You don't have to be a tough guy in order to get what you want from a behaviorally. You know, you can be soft and loving and still have the type of relationship that when you ask your dog to do something, they happily do it for you. So all hope is not lost.
Okay, that's good. Well, yeah, and in the book you do characterize the person that is the disciplinarian too, also in there. So there are different camps besides just those two. So yeah,
She's a very loving disciplinarian. She is
Mhm.
not old school. That word kind of raises my hackles to use old dog trainer terminology, only because um, traditionally discipline is really heavy-handed, and I'm all about positive training, science-based training. And you can, like I said, you can get what you need with love and a gentle touch.
I was thinking about the German Shepherd that comes the experienced trainer
Yes,
that comes on set. Him,
yes.
should I like pop mine out every once in a while? We'll be twinsies, you
These
know?
things hate me. The highly trained dog.
Yes, yes, and how he was robotic, the dog was robotic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Well,
a different style of trainer too. Then
here's a spoiler. That trainer is very, very, very loosely based on someone I have encountered in my 20 years of dog training. So I can't say anything more than that, but I've run into someone who is, yeah, a little bit a different philosophy, and on a set too, which was really interesting because normally you want to be as positive as possible when you're doing training in public like that. So yeah, there are all kinds of little Easter eggs in the book that I'm happy to spill.
well, I sure enjoyed it. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure, and I'm anxious to get back to Who Rescued Who. So
Oh, thank
can't
you.
wait. I mean, tonight
Oh,
that's that. So I read before bed, and then I stay up till 2 or 3. I'm awful. Um, I sleep in, but I mean, I start reading, and it's not just one more chapter. It's like, oh well, let's see how far we can get, and anyway, so I'm anxious to get back into it.
well, and speaking of reading in bed, I do the same thing. And reading your book, I noticed the small town thing. You love writing about small towns. What inspires that?
I grew up in a town of 660 people. So it's like ultra small town because sometimes
Yeah.
I lived in Iowa for a time, and I lived in a small town of 25,000. To me that was pretty big, right? Now I'm in the Dallas area, and I miss the small town. So I feel like when I'm writing, I'm recreating what I grew up with. It was magical. I mean, and there was all the problems there are in small towns because everybody knows your business, in a small town. My brothers, they could never get away with anything, because someone would go tell.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's another theme in Lost, Found, and Forever as well, is the pull between small town life versus city life. My main character, Justine, as you know, is from a small town, or not from, but lives in a small town. And I kind of liken it to a reverse Hallmark story because usually you have big city girl who's pining for the small town. No spoilers, but there's definitely a small town, big city element in the
Yeah,
background of Lost, Found, and
I,
Forever.
I thought that you balanced that really well too. That it wasn't just full on. It wasn't in your face. I mean, it was lovely. It was really
Oh, thank
lovely.
you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Let's talk about that quilt, man.
So this is it's first of all, this is my fabric that I have with Banyan Batiks. It's the Kilts and Quilts fabric, and this is the
That.
Gandy Gal library, and so it goes with my 8th book in the Kilts and Quilts series, Kilt in Scotland. I did a series, and I got to book 8, and I thought I want to write a mystery, so I wrote a mystery within my town. It was really fun. It was a lot of fun to write something a little different. But yeah, so I have put on the top shelf there, I have put my uh, titles of my books and left a few extra spaces on there. And so my best friend is online here, and so hers are on here too. Let's see, where's she at? She's down here. So I have her books on here too.
So sweet.
Yeah, so that's Kathleen Baldwin. Little shout out to her. So yeah, and I just signed a contract with QT Fabrics, and we're going to have fabric to go with my Alaska series, Sweet Home Alaska series. So the first book for that just came out.
That is such a great idea. I definitely am in awe of your ability to take your writing career and dovetail it with something, passive income, baby.
It's been a lot of fun. It's been a whole lot of work, as you know, as writers. It takes up everything. I mean, or it does for me. I think probably for you too, because I know you've got deadlines coming. And so then to add something else to it. So I've been very lucky. I have got some great quilter friends that have saved my bacon. I just like to say, like this one, I did sew this one. But I have on some of my other quilts that I've done. I mean, they've just taken over and go, you don't have time, and they'll sew them and had a pattern writer. I've been very, very blessed with the team. It's been wonderful.
Oh, that's so great. It's great to have support like that. I think we need that as writers. You know, we need our writer friends, we need our non-writer friends, and I actually see a bunch of my non-writer and writer friends in the comments, and I thank you all for being here. But it's so important to have that support because it is a solitary career.
Yeah, it is, except for the people in our heads.
Right. Our special friends.
Yes.
That we miss when we finish. Yeah.
So Spencer, the dog's in your new book, mm-hmm. Is he based on one of your dogs?
He is not. I have not put my dogs in any of my books, but Spencer's name is actually the name of one of my former foster dogs, who I really loved. And he's a special guy. He was a pit bull. He looks nothing like Book Spencer, but he was a special guy, and I wanted to honor him. So, and plus I love the name Spencer. It's such a great name.
Yes, absolutely.
So, yeah. So I do weave in little behavioral quirks, and I was just experiencing one tonight with my dog Olive. I said, I need to put this in a book because it's really sweet, but it's never them specifically. And people that have read my books will probably notice that I don't do a lot of breed specific stuff. I do a lot of mixed breed dogs, you know, bully breeds, pit bull type dogs, just because I think that the pedigree pure breed dogs get enough attention. You know, you see them in all the advertisements. Let's get some attention for the Heinz 57 sweethearts that you see in shelters.
I love that, Heinz 57. That's descriptive. Good job. That's wonderful.
Oh, that's not me. I think that's my dad. That's like old school name. It's nicer than Mutt, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So you grew up with a lot of dogs then, growing up?
No, not a lot of dogs. You know, we had a family dog when I came into being as a human that can contribute to the household. We had a dog named Sasha, and I took it upon myself to train her. She was a little Lhasa mix, but she looked like a shrunken down Labrador. And yeah, I just trained her myself, and I had a flair for it, but did not pick that back up until well into adulthood, after I'd gone to college and done the corporate thing and realized, oh, I don't know if I'm a fit for this. And then came the dog training, and then came the writing, and luckily everything fits together beautifully like a quilt.
Like a quilt, exactly. Yeah, it's all pieced together. Very good. And so, are you are still on Animal Planet? Is that correct? You're still doing a show for them?
No, oh God, I wish. No, that was it was a 2-year show that was on super early Saturday mornings. No one's seen it. It was called Faithful Friends, and it was all different types of animals. And I was their pet expert, or their dog expert. Excuse me. They had everything, horses and all kinds of animals. And I would do a little training segment on it, and it was so much fun. But that was years and years ago. I haven't done it since, but I've worked with a bunch of the websites that I write for. We do like training vignettes for them, like video training, and those are fun. But I'm not on Animal Planet anymore. So, but I'm open to it. Call me.
Okay, if you're watching. There you go. And that was going to be my next question. What kind of TV, if you're still interested in doing that? So your dogs. So my brain was, while I was reading the book, was, oh well, this is her life. You know, I was doing that. I mean, because I was right there with you. I mean, you know, and so have you done commercials with any dogs? I mean, are you with Chewy? Is that right? Are you with Chewy.com?
I'm not. I'm a free agent. But
Okay.
I do a lot of work, a lot of contract work with various websites. But it's never well, I shouldn't say never. My dogs will appear in things, but I don't work with dogs like Spencer. Spencer is highly trained. He is an actor dog. He kind of grew into the role of an actor dog, but he's super trained and can do everything. My dogs are not. They're okay. They're funny. Check my Instagram. But whenever I'm working with dogs on either like puppy bowl, or I do interstitials with them, which are the little pieces before and after, or in the middle, like the Bissell commercial, I'll help with that. And I've done commercials for American Veterinary Association, that kind of thing. The dogs are never highly trained. They are always like, hope we can get this action. Here's what we want, Victoria. Can you make this happen with this dog that's never been on a set before? So
No
it's
pressure.
yeah, and it's a very different scenario. But I did actually weave in some of the things that happen. Even though Spencer is highly trained, they make some requests of him where Justine's like, I'm not sure we can do that. Like, I don't know if he's capable. And that happens to me all the time, where I'll be on set and they'll be like, hey, Victoria. And I work with the kittens too on Puppy Bowl during the kitten halftime show. So they'll say, hey, Victoria, we need the kitten to play piano. Can you do this? And it's literally like this big. And I always say, yes, I can. And do I try. Normally we can get it. But that was a huge difference, in that I had the luxury of Spencer being able to do everything he needed versus the stuff that I do where it's like, please let this work.
That's amazing. I'm in awe of the whole training thing. And we can talk about that later. I'm just in complete awe about how to get the animals to do what you want. My husband just kind of looks at them and they do what he wants them to do. It's just like, can't do that.
He's got the aura.
He does. He really does have the aura. So I want to know a little bit about your writing process. I mean, are you a pantser or are you a plotter? And maybe we should just
yes.
tell them what the two are there. What I'm talking about here.
Yes, one makes life very easy and one makes life very difficult. So a plotter is someone who knows exactly what's going to happen in their book, sometimes chapter to chapter, but everything is outlined and they can sit down and say, this is what I'm going to write today, this piece. A pantser is a fly by the seat of their pants. Let's see where these characters take us. I am, you can probably tell by my description, a pantser. Obviously I know my characters and I know where they're going to end up, but things evolve. And this just happened to me. I shouldn't say just, Kate, are you watching? This happened recently as I was writing. I introduced a character on the ferry to Nantucket. My next book is set in Nantucket. And I didn't know who she was, but she came into the story and I'm like, do I need this character? And then later I said, I do need her. This is why I need her. And for me, that's part of the beauty of writing a book, is these characters reveal themselves to you and the story reveals itself to you. So I do have the structure of where I'm going, but I meet lots of interesting people and dogs along the way.
Wonderful.
Yeah, How about you?
I'm in between the two. My first book, I was a pantser and I wrote it all out of order. And
oh wow,
yeah, and then because I like the puzzle of putting it together.
You like the quilt?
Yeah, I like the quilt. But now it started out with my editor. I mean, I had to write a very detailed synopsis, which just totally freaked me out. But now I need that because I get to the middle of the book and it's like, oh yeah, no, that's what's going to happen. I totally forgot that I was put that into a synopsis. So I am a plotter, but there's still so much discovery to figuring out who they are, and that only happens as the story develops and comes to you. And then sometimes I'll get towards the end, even I'll be like, oh, I sort of laid seeds for that, but I need to make sure because this is who they really are. I mean,
yeah,
it really is a process. It's wonderful and painful and then wonderful again and then painful and then wonderful. I mean, I've kind of just goes back and forth. It's the discovery. It's like giving birth over and over and over again. I think, I don't know.
You have 9 books?
I have my 10th one just came out. Yeah.
10th,
So,
right. Okay. One
so
snowy night. Everyone
right.
read it. It's wonderful.
Here, I was going to hold up I printed it.
You did
So,
it backwards? You're so smart.
no, oh, did it come out okay? No,
Yes. Wait, is mine the right way? Nope, mine's backwards. Yours is perfect.
okay, no, yours looks perfect from my end.
Oh,
So
okay.
it looks backwards here to me. So yay.
Yay.
That's wonderful. Yeah, because after I printed it, I did a little test. It's like, oh, it's backwards, and I let it go. Because the book's small, right? I mean, it's a mass paperback, so it's a smaller size, and I thought
Right.
I won't be able to see it on there. But yeah, I have a dog on there. That's
Burner,
Boomer,
baby. Boomer. Oh, yeah.
and so
Boomer the burner.
I
Yeah.
I printed him out bigger
Love
because he's
that.
so stinking cute.
Yeah, why burners?
Well, I saw a program. I don't know. Whoops! I just knocked my computer. If it goes flying, I apologize.
At the end of it.
So I saw a program about Bernese Mountain Dogs, and it was about them working and how they love to work, and I just sort of fell in love with them. And I don't know, they're just so wonderful, and I just thought Alaska and Bernese Mountain Dogs, that just works together.
Perfect together.
Yeah.
Yep.
Excellent.
Coffee and cream. Love it.
So yeah, and I've had in my first novel, I had both of my Shelties, and they're so Scrappy that I have now. He when we got him, he had been sold several times and brought back because he was born, he wasn't breathing, and so so he had some pretty serious behavioral issues. And he's a dog that he is not motivated by food. He's motivated by love. I mean, so click training, nothing of that. We tried all that stuff, but he's very devoted, and as long as he's being loved and he knows he's loved, and I feel like the dogs sort of hit the lottery, because my husband's amazing. I mean, he's just had this amazing way of just letting him know he was alpha, and just and we love you, and and so he'll do anything for us. He's deaf, but he'll still do anything for us. So
well, he landed in the right home. I always say we get the dogs we deserve. So
that's nice. Yeah, we've been very lucky, very lucky.
Yeah. Oh, I love the pictures you sent. They're so cute.
I sent her pictures of Scout and Scrappy, and then them laying on top of my son, because I thought that would be sort of fun. But yeah, no, they're my buddies. We just hang out all day together.
We need to see them more on your Instagram.
Okay, so anybody want to help me figure out Instagram? I have an issue with Instagram.
I can help you.
Okay, because Facebook, even as they change Facebook all the time, I'm doing fine on that. But Instagram, I love to look at the pictures, but when I go to do stuff with it, it doesn't behave as well as I want it to. I'm just trying to figure it out.
Okay.
So
I will help you with that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I mean, because the dogs, they want to be out there. They love it,
They want their moment of fame. Trust me, I know. With Millie and Olive, and I'm seeing people here that know me from Instagram. Miss Cyborg Cinderella, I see you. Yeah. So my dogs are all over. They're the stars of my Instagram, and it's a ton of fun.
Wonderful. So tell me when your next book comes out.
Oh gosh, the next one, 2021, probably about the same time of year. Hopefully we will be through the pandemic, well through the pandemic, and living happily normal lives, and everyone can go to the bookstore and buy it. Fingers crossed. How about you?
Okay, so you said 2021, 2022.
Wait, no, 2022.
That's okay.
Oh
That's all right. So probably about March 2022.
Yes.
And what'd you say the title was, or is that still?
No, it's not. I don't think it's under wraps. This could be an exclusive just for you. It's called Dog Friendly.
Dog Friendly. Okay. Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And you said it was set Nantucket?
Mm-hmm. Set on in Nantucket. Yes.
Awesome. That's fantastic. My next book will be out in November. It says November 30th online, so I'm trusting that. I thought it was going to be December, but that sometimes it shifts a little bit.
Yes, it does.
So it'll be out this year. It's the second book in the Sweet Home Alaska series, and this was a homesteading book. It's called Once Upon a Cabin. I love
Oh,
that title.
that's so good. And you're so impressive that you can get them out so quickly. That's great.
Well, it's they're having more time between them now. When I first started, it was 6 months, and then it was like 5.5 months, and then it was 5, and then I thought I can't do this, and so then they have more time now. Yay! So, yeah,
Well, that's the difference between pantser and plotter, I guess.
well, I don't know. I mean, it's well, yeah, and I guess you're right. I mean, also I have a fear of doing a total rewrite. I've done that before, and
Mm.
but so do you mind rewriting? When you're
I
or
don't. I
you
don't
do.
mind it. No, I love the editing process. I happily kill my darlings, and because I know that an outside influence takes a story and elevates it. And you get so entrenched in your story, you can't see where things aren't going right. And that's where I'm like, bring it on. Just destroy it and I will make it better.
And that's a great way to look at it. I mean, I absolutely agree. I mean, I love my editor. She's amazing. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't
Same.
I don't want to live without her. So, she is just so, so good. Um, yes,
They are the reason our stories are what they are. They do elevate what we put on the page and take it to the next level. And yeah.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So that's okay. So let's see. When I
Oh,
was getting ready, I was like thinking of all these things. Oh, she's back. Okay.
I think
Well,
it's
hi.
Q&A time.
Is it Q&A time? Do you need a little more time?
I don't know. Did I ask all of my questions? I mean, I don't know if you know that.
I
Let's see.
I feel like we covered a lot of great stuff, and I think if there are questions from our fabulous audience, let's do
There
it.
are. All right. The first one is from Kay. This is for Victoria. Victoria, are you going to give an overview of Lost, Found, and Forever for those who haven't had the chance to read the book yet?
Thank you so much for that wonderful question, Kay. I would love to. So, Lost, Found, and Forever is what happens when you take a love triangle and one of the players is a dog. So, my main character, Justine, adopted a dog, Spencer, and she's had him for a year. And she discovers through one of those Facebook posts that have been forwarded a million times, we've all seen them, she sees a dog that looks just like Spencer. And the person who posted said, I lost my dog a year ago. And she realizes, oh my gosh, I don't think Spencer's mine. And the story from there becomes this push pull between these two characters, these two very attractive characters, trying to figure out, is Griffin, the one who lost the dog, the rightful pet parent, or Justine, the one who's loved him for the past year, the rightful pet parent? And we have hijinks and fun and behind the scenes on a TV series and love. And yeah, that's it.
It's very good, everybody. I mean, I told you I'm a picky reader, and I loved it.
Oh, well, thank you.
All right. And this one I'm going to ask both of you. This is from Suzanne. And Patience, you can go first on this one. Who would you cast in your LFF?
Oh,
Oh,
Your
it's
Lost, Found, and Forever.
um,
if you're
wow.
stumped, I'm happy to go.
What was that? You go
If you're
ahead. No,
stumped,
it's just because I didn't like pick like a movie star. He was like a whole different person to me, and I'm sorry, I kept putting you in as Justine. So
I think a lot of the readers that know me do that, but it's never me. So actually, someone had a great casting choice that I hadn't thought of. Owen Wilson as Griffin, but he's cute, but not quite cute enough. So I have this thing for my Instagram models. So I found a very handsome gentleman, and his name is escaping me. I will put it in my Instagram stories. I am going to be doing a casting story, who all my influences were. Oh gosh, what is his name? He's British. I have a thing for the Brits. Um, and then for Justine, again, she's just this model that I came across that I kept finding her picture over and over again. But she's got this lovely cropped hair, honey colored cropped hair. And yeah, she is Justine to me. And then um, Ruth, her friend, I won't do everyone, but just Ruth is a big character. And she is Michelle Visage from RuPaul's Drag Race. I don't know if we have any RuPaul's fans, but, you know, very severe black hair and black glasses and a big sense of style.
What about Sienna?
She, again, another like model type of person. She's a hippy dippy kind of deadhead Birkenstock wearing chick who was adorable. That's
I
her
loved her. I
colleague.
loved her.
Oh, yeah, my little witch goddess tarot card reading employee.
She was wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
What do you think, Patience?
Okay,
No
so I'm thinking Griffin is. I have a thing for Chris Pine, and so
Oh.
you know, so I tend to insert him when I'm reading.
As most do.
Yeah, and so when I was first writing like my Kilts and Quilts series, I mean, so my first book and the movie star that's in my first book, I was using like Gerard Butler, and then every time I was like going to do something, I was like, oh, it's Gerard Butler. So yeah, I have my favorites that I just kind of plug in.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, and to look for the models, we'll have to talk about where to like find out what their names are. I found one in an ad in a magazine ad, and it was like, who is this person? And so I do storyboards, and so I have these big storyboards with pictures all over them, and I leave them set up. Well, I don't know what to do with them now that I have all these books and all these storyboards, but I would love to know who some of the models are. I mean, so we'll have to talk.
I can help you with that too.
Okay, perfect.
This question is for Patience from Debbie. Does your family step up and support your writing and your success?
I am probably the luckiest person in the world when it comes to writing, because I was an engineer, and so I used to travel 3.5. I was like 3.5 hours a day. I was commuting, and I was listening to books, and I just sort of became obsessed with books. And I just sitting there one night, I turned to my husband, PhD, and I'm like, so I think I could write a book. And he's like, of course you could. And it's like, okay. And and so he's just been extremely supportive, and he doesn't. So he did not read any of my books when I first published. He didn't read them, but when it came out on audiobook, he listens to them. And so for the first book, he would come in every day after work and come report to me what happened in the book. And there were days he was upset, being like, I can't believe that you did that, and walk out, but he's very, very supportive, and I'm just thrilled. I mean, because I can't do engineering and write books, because now my whole life is books. I mean, I'm immersed. So
that's a good place to be, I think.
Oh yeah. All right, this question is for Victoria. This is from our friend Reese. Victoria, you have such an amazing vocabulary. How do you choose the words as you're writing a thought?
So I used to get teased in high school. They called me Vocab Vic. And it's because I read so much. I was such a voracious reader, super, super young, reading things that were probably way out of what I should have been reading. Let's just say I learned about the birds and the bees very young through books, romance novels. But just how do I pick the words? They just happen. It's not really a conscious thing. And this is silly, but sometimes I think I have to reel back a little bit. I've had a couple people comment on some of my vocabulary words. Andrea, I don't know if you're still here. Yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of words in my head.
It makes your books very rich, and that's what I love about them. I mean, your word choices are beautiful, and your metaphors, your everything. I mean, it's such a delight to read your books. Such a delight.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I'm getting a swelled head. Thank you, and back at you. I mean, this is, like I said, this is definitely an evening of mutual admiration.
Okay. We have a question in the chat from Terry. This is for Victoria. How different is it to work with cats?
Well, So I don't do a lot of adult cats. Like once you've got cats on set that aren't kittens, you definitely have like professional cat trainers. So with the kittens, it's definitely tough. Like I have my go-to things that I do with puppies that always work, and I catch myself doing it with the kittens, and I'm like, no, they're not going to respond to that. So it's scaling back. You know, with puppies, everything has to be big, and you've got to keep their attention because their attention is drawn to everything. You don't have to be that way with cats, but because that's kind of my level set, as you can see just by the way I am in this chat, got to scale it back a little bit. So it's very different, but still adorable. Oh, God, I love them.
Do you have any cats?
I wish. My husband is very allergic. I ask him probably once a month, like, are you sure we can't get a kitten? Because I watch all those the dodo stories with these adorable kittens that come out of the woods, and I found kittens in our woods 2 years ago. It's in my Instagram stories. I mean, just this big. And unfortunately, fortunately, we found a wonderful rescue mama who took care of them, and they're all happily adopted now. But I'm like, are you sure? So no kittens. How about you?
We had a cat. She passed away at 18. It was
Oh,
my
wow.
my daughter's, and so my husband, being who he is, she really wanted a cat, and so he bought her a pretty thick cat book, and then he gave her a test before.
Oh.
PhD, right? Really, he has a PhD in nuclear engineering. So, he was just to make sure she understood what a cat would take. And so when she went to college, the cat stayed with us. And so she got a cat while she was in college. We still had hers. So yeah, no, Gracie, she by the end, I mean, she was so old, and we were just taking care of her. We had a little nursing home for her in the laundry room, and she was well loved, well taken care of. I feel like we're more dog people, than we are cat people. But my son, he just got a cat, and he loves his cat so much. So anyway, he doesn't live with us, and I became very allergic about I don't know, probably about 10 years ago. It was funny. She'd come and sit with me in my recliner while I was writing, and I would just have tears coming down my face, not from my books, sometimes from my books, but it was I was just so allergic to her, but she just loved to cuddle while I was working.
And you dealt with it, right?
Well,
You're that kind of
it's
cat.
family.
Right, exactly.
What do you do? It's family,
Oh my gosh. My cats just came tearing down the stairs, so there might be like a breaking news cat situation over here. And
Bring it on. I don't have any dogs to show off tonight. I think my husband's got them under lock and key downstairs. But
I thought these guys were too. But they have finagled their way
jailbreak.
Jailbreak. Oh my goodness. Alrighty. This question is for both of you from Debbie. Victoria, will have you go first. Are you happy when your book is completed or sad to say goodbye to your characters?
I love this question. I'm both. I'm definitely both, because writers always work under a deadline. So, there are requirements. But so I'm happy. I'm happy that, I've completed the journey, but I always miss the people in the books for sure. Yeah. So it's a mix.
And so for me, it's different because I've been writing series, and so it's lovely because then I just get to go visit them again, and they get to show up on the page as much as I want. And it's interesting because the number of readers that write and say, "Well, I want to see more of such and such." And I've been at book signings after my first book came out. I was getting ready to turn in the second book, and a gentleman came up, and he worked in a high security facility, and they weren't allowed to bring in any electronics, and so he brought in paperback books, and so he had read my first book, and he was like, he goes, "I got to know, are you going to do more with Maddie from the first story?" And he started like giving me, how he felt about Maddie, and I was like, well, that's lovely. And so yeah, I mean, so I get to revisit my characters. Yay, and
that's wonderful.
Yeah, and I get asked a lot about the old curmudgeon quilter from the first series, from the Kilts and Quilts series, all the time. People are asking about Diety. the old grandmother, and Diney sort of sits with me all day, and she says things to me. She says and does things I would never ever do, and so she's a lot of fun. I mean, it's those little voices that talk to us. And Diney wants me to get back to the Kilts and Quilts series. She's ready for me to start writing about her again.
You got to listen
Yeah.
to the voices.
Yep.
Alrighty. And speaking of Diney, we have a comment that Kilts and Quilts needs to be a miniseries, and a question: will there be another book in that series, in the Kilts and Quilts series?
I have probably 10 books plotted out. And when I say plotted, it's not the full, but I have stories. I have the blurbs for them because
You're my
it's
idol.
expanded. I have so many characters. The spreadsheet is very, very long of characters. And so
Spreadsheet?
yeah, I'm an engineer. So yes. I love spreadsheets. Yes.
I'm
So
so impressed. That's incredible.
yeah. So
Not a
yes.
pantser.
Yeah, there will be more in the Kilts and Quilts series. And Darty insists, her and her broom, they both insist. So
Okay, and this is for Victoria from Delaney. Will Millie and Olive ever make an appearance in one of your books?
Oh, I feel like they should. So maybe I need to work them into a future book. I wonder if there's time to get them in this one. I listen to my audience, so
Yeah, okay.
maybe. The answer is maybe.
they could do a cameo, a walk on.
Yeah. Oh, hello. I just got it. Yes, just the word walk on. I know exactly where they're going to go. Okay, thank you.
Perfect.
Writing.
And also from Delaney, how did you get started with dog training?
So I did the college to corporate America thing and had a pretty good job in tech in Northern Virginia during the tech boom, which was like the place to be for anything computer related, and was doing well. And like anyone that welcomes drama into their life, I said, "Oh, let's start over. Let's just walk away from this job and start over." I'd never set foot in a dog training class. I'd always just kind of done it by gut. And for whatever reason, it was like one of those bolt of lightning moments where it was just like, be a dog trainer. Can't explain it. Still don't know who or what it was, but quit my job and started apprenticing and learned what not to do because it was very old school choke chain. We won't get into techniques now, but it was enough to get me interested in learning everything I could learn about dog training. And I came across the methodology that I believed in and never looked back. And it was one of those things where you walk away from a pretty darn good job. You better make it work. I did not have a choice to fail. It was not an option. So yeah, I just scrapped until it was a real career. And I always say that this was 20 years ago and dog training has evolved so much since then. There are a lot of dog trainers. I'm sure everyone here knows a dog trainer. Back when I was doing it, it was like clubs. It was your local club, your local whatever. Yeah. So when I would tell people at a party that they'd say, "What do you do?" Northern Virginia, DC, of course, that was like the first question. And I'd say, "I'm a dog trainer." And they'd go, "Oh, what kind of doctor?" And I'd say, "No, I'm a dog trainer." So then the conversation would change. But, I was popular at parties because then the next question was, "Can you help me with my dog? Because this is happening." But that was a long, convoluted answer to your question. I hope I got a kernel of point in there.
And we have a question for Patience from Pat. Patience, for someone who is not familiar with your books, could you please describe what your Alaska series is about?
So my series is about small towns, first of all, and it's about community. And I write heartfelt stories. And so the first Alaska book is about a tragedy that had happened 17 years ago, and it's affected the people in the town, and it affected the whole town. The town sort of went downhill after that. And so the one of the people that was part of the tragedy, he returns to town, and everything sort of takes off from there. And because it's hard because I don't want to give away,
I know.
I can't.
And I realized I smiled as you said, like, tragedy, and he returned to town, and I'm smiling because I know what happened.
So anyway, that's, yeah. And so, yeah, I write, homespun sort of stories and about real people. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I think trying to capture real life and make it entertaining. And I do have to say that when I sit down to write, um, I actually write out on a piece of paper every day, what is something fun I can write today? Because I have to be entertained, and because I have to enjoy what I'm doing. And sometimes entertaining will make me cry, right? But most of the time I try to write something funny because I think funny is good too. I mean, so anyway, this is how I handle it. So I don't know if I answered that okay. I should have had like the blurb here. I could have read the blurb to you because the blurb, that's been approved, to read it out to people.
No spoilers in your blurb.
Yes.
And this is going to be our last question, and it is for both of you. And I will have Patience go first. Aside from dogs, what is your favorite animal?
So I'm such a dog person here. I got to hold up this is my little Bernese Mountain Dog here.
That's Boomer.
It's Boomer. I really love pandas. I don't know. There's something really majestic and wonderful about pandas, and so I love them. And penguins. So maybe I really like black and white animals. So yeah, I love penguins too. They have such a personality.
Oh, this is such an unfair question. Can I say all of them? Does that count? Not all of them. I like owls are fascinating, sloths are fascinating, kangaroos. Like, I like them all. Yeah, that's a hard one. And dogs, obviously, but I'm not allowed to say
Koala
dogs.
bears.
Koala bear. You can say any animal, and I'll be like, yes, that one. No, that one.
Oh, seals. Oh, seals
Yes,
are fun.
that one.
Oh my gosh. Well, I would like to thank you both so much for being with us tonight. This was so
Thank
much
you.
fun. Oh my goodness. It was
Thank
so much
you
fun.
for hosting.
Yes,
This was
thank you for having
lovely.
us.
What a
Anytime.
wonderful way to
Anytime.
spend my release night, end of the night. Thank you.
Yeah, party.
Oh. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in person tomorrow to
Yes,
sign
I
the
will be signing.
books.
Yeah, it's not
Yes.
too late, folks. You can still place an order, and I have really cute bookmarks. They're out of reach, and I'm afraid to move. But anyone that orders through Doylestown Bookshop gets a really cute bookmark as well. So not too late.
Yes, you can click the button on your screen that says buy the books and put your order in. Thank you again. Thank you, everyone who's watching. Thank you, everyone who was active in the chat tonight. This really was a lot of fun. Patience, it was so nice meeting you.
Lovely
It
to
was
meet
really
you
nice meeting
too.
you.
This was so much fun.
Thank you again. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and everyone have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.